was felt across parts of Shimane Prefecture. Now we start with Venezuela. Toppled Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has pleaded not guilty to narcotics charges at the Manhattan Federal Court in New York. Maduro pleaded innocent in New York Federal Court to 4 criminal counts: narcoterrorism, cocaine importation, conspiracy, and possession of machine guns and destructive devices. Delcy Rodriguez, formerly Venezuela's vice president, has been formally sworn in to lead the South American country following the abduction of Nicolas Maduro in a United States military operation. Hours after Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in as an interim president, unidentified drones flew over Venezuela's presidential palace in Caracas, prompting security forces to open fire. Witnesses reported bursts of gunfire, though a government source has said the situation was under control. According to reports, the incident lasted about a minute. Now for this discussion, we welcome Professor Veselin Popovsky. He's a professor and vice dean at Jindal Global Law School, joins us live from Bulgaria. Thank you very much, Professor, for joining us once again. Good to see you. Hi. Now looking at this, even though Maduro has said he pleaded not guilty, and even if he's proven innocent, and even if he's not proven innocent, what happens next? The Maduro's government or son back home has called for on his people to bring back Maduro, or Venezuela will try best to bring back Maduro. Do they have any chances, or realistically any path that this is realistically possible?
Well, everything is possible, but I doubt that the U.S. court will find Maduro innocent. Narco-terrorism is a very serious crime, and combined with conspiracy to narco-terrorism, also possession of machine guns and devices, and conspiracy to possess. All the charges look pretty solid, and the next hearing is 17th of March, and it will take time. I expect several months of hearing, of appeal. So Maduro will be held in New York court for long. And for that matter, we have the vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, now sworn into the office. So yes, very little chance, let's put it not as a zero, but very little chance of Maduro being pronounced non-guilty and returned back to Caracas. Under the Constitution of Venezuela, elections are held every 6 years. So the current term of Maduro will expire only in 2030, 4 years from now. And the political game is also interesting, not only the legal game. Delcy Rodriguez, the sworn vice president now ad interim, a temporary president, she said in her speech that she is regretting that Maduro is captured in that way and she has to be sworn as a president. However, by the way, the chairman of the National Assembly in Venezuela is her brother, Jorge Rodriguez. And I remember Financial Times last year reported there are talks between Jorge Rodriguez and the Americans to let Maduro into exile so that his sister Delcy Rodriguez becomes a president. And that signals that possibly United States would be happy with Delcy Rodriguez if she behaves, exactly, quoting from Donald Trump, if she behaves, if she doesn't damage the US oil and other interests in Venezuela, it's quite possible that Delcy Rodriguez will stay in power. Moreover, to call elections, you need a National Assembly, but the National Assembly is run mostly by Chavistas with her brother as a chairman of that assembly. So the next elections, I would say the chance for the oppositions, for people like Maria Corina Machado and others, will come with next elections. Obviously, the opposition should put for early elections in the current crisis. They did it already for the last 7-8 years, since 2018. Even then, opposition challenged Maduro that the elections were not fair and rigged. There were even armed attempts to remove Maduro, unsuccessful at the time with Guaido. So it will be a fight, but I hope it's a political fight and not armed forces fight. And one way or another, the question will be, first, whether Maduro will be charged as guilty. So we need to watch the New York court. And second, we need also to watch the political situations in Venezuela, whether the next elections will be only in 2030, or there will be a pressure to hold early elections, which is also possible under the Constitution. There is this clause of recall option by referendum. And if a recall by referendum happens, the elections may be early, which is a chance for the opposition to win.
Right, and Delcy Rodriguez, building on that, Delcy Rodriguez comes from the same party as Maduro. And also right now opposition is underrepresented anyhow in Venezuela. Yes.
Correct, yes.
So what's your analysis? Can you say that US this operation was successful, because in the end the regime didn't really change?
Well, they captured Maduro. For that matter, it was successful. The person suspected in narco-terrorism. And obviously nobody like, not only in the United States, in the world. By the way, the Europeans didn't recognize Maduro as a legitimate president back in 2018. So we are talking for someone who should go. And for that matter, it was successful to remove Maduro. Now, we need to see Delcy Rodriguez. Again, she's from the same party, you are right, but whether she will be a dictatorial type of, I don't expect that, by the way. I don't think anybody can be similar or worse than Maduro, simply because it doesn't work. The people in Venezuela were not happy. People of Venezuela migrated massively over his term. And for that matter, there is a strong support from the diaspora, those Venezuelans living all over the world, for change. They will demand change. So gradually with the time, the supporters of Maduro will be reduced and they will not have such a strong voice. Chance for Delcy Rodriguez to show a different policy, not to follow the brutal dictatorial regime of Maduro, arresting political prisoners. So chance for her, but also chance for the opposition. Ideally, in those situations, there should be elections. Maybe not immediately, maybe after. By the way, the political opposition is also in exile. Most of the people are not in Venezuela, exactly because Maduro issued arrest warrants and all of them left. Edmundo Rodriguez is in Spain, and many others are abroad. So they need to return to prepare their campaign to run for next presidential election. So it will take some time to stabilize the political situation. And I for that matter, I don't mind, let's put it this way, Delcy Rodriguez to be in charge. This is under the Constitution. She was the vice president. Also a chance for her to show herself as a different leader and somehow to reform the party and to act in a better way. That's my expectation. I think at the end of the day, maybe not immediately, but in 6 to 11, 12 months, by the end of this year, we will see, and I'm optimistic that the people of Venezuela will need to make a choice ultimately between Delcy Rodriguez or Maria Corina. By the way, 2 women running for president of Venezuela will be also a good news one day.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for highlighting that, Professor. Please stay with us as we stay on this topic. Now, the son of captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro appeared before the National Assembly